Hey guys, if you're checking out this video, I just want to give a couple shout outs to people who made this possible. I want to give a shout out to some, Denzelbin, Drell33, U Vertigo, Biggs85, Milo Pie, Gucci for Life. Let's go to the next page. God's Legacies, Anxious, Condorium. I always butcher that name. I'll just call him Condor. That's what I call him inside Twitch chat. Turkleton, Picosta, Echoman, a couple of those people, individuals there, donated once or twice, or just basically have been contributing towards this guide and helping me out. So as always, thank you guys so much. This guide goes out to you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it, and hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, Debo here. Welcome to my 24-hour Witch Doctor guide. I know it's been a long time coming, but I finally got around to getting all the final fundamental things squared off for the guide. But anyways, since you're here, let's just go ahead and get started. This is going to focus on phase 1 of everything that's going on. Now, keep in mind that there's going to be a phase 2 video, a phase 3 video, and the reason why I'm doing this is I'm trying to keep all the videos straight, concise, to the point, and then you guys can basically focus on video 1, which is the leveling phase, video 2, which is, the phase 2, which is the progression gear, the gear progression phase, and phase 3, where it's the grind phase, where you try to round out everything inside your build and decide on what you're going to do. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started. The reason why I was actually started to formulate this guide is because I actually went over and played the game called Path of Exile. And the big thing with the Path of Exile game is that they have a lot of leveling competitions, or they have a lot of different races and ladder situations structured, kind of like how we do in our ranking system. But the big difference is it focuses on well, it doesn't necessarily focus on efficiency, but the first player that's able to actually reach level 100 is rewarded #1 spot, and then everybody preceding him ranks accordingly. Now, when I joined in one of these races, I do believe it was a week-long event, I started, and I thought I had a little bit good understanding of the game of Path of Exile, and then within 5 hours, I was about at level 25 to maybe at the most 30. I can't remember specifically, I was somewhere around that area. And after I reached that time, within 5 hours, I thought I was doing pretty good. I thought I can grind it out, but then I noticed some players were at level 55 or 56, or just blowing me out of the water. And what I came to realization is that the cool thing that the Path of Exile players do is they plan out meticulously every single level, and then they use that inside their gameplay of like what quest rewards to take, what areas to farm, when to progress through the storyline, different techniques and different things they're building towards, and good game knowledge and good game sense that accumulates to just basically leveling extremely quickly in the most efficient possible way, or just in general gearing up a character and transitioning into the late game version of that game. For them it's maps, for us it's, you know, Torment level 6 and also greater rifts and what have you not. So what I really just noticed is that I said, you know, no one really in Diablo is trying to efficiently figure out a legitimate way that doesn't involve exploitation or doing some crazy stuff or clever use of game mechanics, whatever you like to use. No one's really kind of setting up to do that, like trying to make things efficiently as possible. So maybe if we take a brand new player, they can follow some step-by-step and some tips so they can progress their character onward and get themselves to the late game as soon as possible, which is of course Torment level 6 and greater rifts. So with that experience in PoE, I decided to come back towards Diablo, a game which I know pretty much well in and out. And to be fair, in Path of Exile I didn't really know too much, or I should have studied a little bit better if I plan on racing and stuff, but it happens. But in Diablo I actually do, at least towards the Witch Doctor basic game sense and knowledge, I know how to level up a character, or at least I can do some different testing methods based on the knowledge that I know, so we can get all this information together and maybe make a structured way to get a Witch Doctor from the base level all the way up to level 70, which of course is just phase 1 of the whole process. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. As you see, I got my little this is on the main surface of my Crusaders, not a Witch Doctor. I'm just going to start off by saying if you're brand new, or I'm sorry, if you are a seasoned veteran, or you're just somebody who's played the game and experienced, like, you might want to skip a little bit ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and start off with the basic stuff so people can get themselves situated so they can get right in and start building their Witch Doctor and they don't have to worry about certain settings. So the only reason I bring up settings, you want to go into options. The main thing is that under gameplay, You want to display health player bars or display health bars of different players. Display monster health bars. You want players' names, health bar numbers, healing numbers, damage number, critical numbers, defensive messages. Always show item labels on drop. You want that kind of stuff always checkmarked, especially tutorial showing Glen clock. That was bad. Auto equip items you don't necessarily have on. You definitely want show advanced tooltips. You do want elective mode that will allow you to put all your skills wherever you want to do. And that's pretty much what you generally want to have selected. And then basically what's going to happen is you're going to go inside here. Let me go to switch heroes. You're going to go create. And of course, you're going to set up your Witch Doctor, whatever class you preferably like to do. But like I said, this 24-hour guide is going to be for the Witch Doctor class. And you can select whether or not you want to be a hardcore hero, a seasonal character. We'll just go ahead and select seasonal character. And then we'll go ahead and select female. And then we'll just type in some gibberish. And we'll go ahead and click create hero. And it's going to ask you a new start. Basically, when you start off in seasons, or hypothetically, this may not happen if you're actually just if you're making a non-ladder character or a non-season character. You don't have to worry about this, but I mean, for the most part, it's the same opening. The difference is the seasonal characters start off with nothing and no help from whatsoever. Brand new, fresh start. All the players start off with nothing. Non-seasonal, of course, is you can use whatever you want, but I'm assuming for the most part, most people that are going to be watching this guide are going to be using it either for the itinerary, or they're going to be using it for seasons, or they're going to be using it on a fresh account. Now, if you already have an account with a bunch of characters and you're making a Witch Doctor, the fast way to levels either get, power leveled, or maybe use an exploit, use different, like the Hellfire Ring to get more experience, use reduced item level gear. We're not talking about this. We're just talking if you're making a brand new character and you're starting from the base level, you want to learn the Witch Doctor class, and you want to get the fundamentals situated and what have you not. So we got a character made. If this is your first time ever playing through the game, you're going to have to clear campaign mode. Adventure mode won't be open. If you have to do campaign mode, I would just simply tell you, just enjoy the game. Start on campaign mode, start through normal, finish everything out, just do the quest. You don't really have to worry about side areas. You should finish around a level 37, and then 37, 38, and then you'll be able to come back and start adventure mode. But, like I said, I'm assuming if you see this video right now, I'm assuming that you're going to be starting on adventure mode. Maybe you're making a season character, maybe you beat the game once already, maybe make, whatever have you not. I'm assuming that we're starting on the adventure mode. So we got our character made, we got adventure mode started, we're going to go ahead and save and close, and we're going to go ahead and start the game. Alright, so we're just waiting for everything to load up. We can go over this stuff and get in detail about it. Fantastic. Okay. So when you immediately start in, and since this is not a season, but now you see things like new hireling Templar, new hireling Enchantress, and you're also going to have a new hireling the Scoundrel. Okay. You start off in the beginning of the town, and you don't actually have to go through story mode because, like I said, you already beat the game. You start off basically in the bounty mode system. The bounty mode system is different quests and different things that you can basically accomplish and do that you just repeat all 5 of the quests, or you do all 5 of the quests, and then you get the reward, which is the Horologic Cash. However, in the leveling phase in that, we really are not focusing too much on doing every single specific individual bounty. We only want to target specific ones that are giving us the most efficient amount of experience that can be done quickly, and that's not going to waste too much of our time. So let me just go ahead and just tab over, let me see here. There we go, to my ladder simulation guide, or phase 1 leveling. Now, of course, including this guide, and I'll include all the links down the road, the main thing is I do have a nice little itinerary that kind of tells you everything from what levels and what skills to take and what to do in the structure process and what you need to do. So make sure you review over this and remember to reference the itinerary inside the 24-hour Witch Doctor guide so you can come back and see what you're supposed to do. I got it to the point where it's like levels 1 through 12, adventure mode bounties, normal difficulty, higher enchantress faller, and then what skills to take at what level. But even what I say right here, the following what you're about to read is the start to finish itinerary list for the first 20 hours of a fresh solo Witch Doctor. If you're in a group, you can use this as a rough outline of what you'll be focusing as you progress through content. What does that mean? If you're inside of a group, your experience is going to be a lot quicker. Or if you're doing leveling tactics, we'll call it, in the new season or whatever it's doing now, you're going to level extremely quicker than what anything can do in this guide. This won't pertain to you, but if you'd like to still know what major skills you need to take as you level up, then you can use this kind of as a reference. Now, keep in mind, if you're in a group, you won't be able to hire follower, but you can follow everything else. So just keep that in mind. That's the first thing I wanted to cover and let them know. The leveling phase is pretty straightforward, which it is. It lists with difficulty, skill setup, should be running at different intervals. The second phase shows you how to prioritize time quickly and progress onwards to tournaments level 1 and 3. That's going to be in the second video. The final phase is all about running out your build, the gear itemization you have with Witch Doctor, and get a tournament level 5 and 6 ready, which is the final phase, which is going to be video number 3. So anyways, if you haven't seen this itinerary list and where I break down what skills to take for each level, just make sure you just head over there inside the link. I'm going to include it so where you guys can come over and come view everything and, you know, go through the whole like itinerary and see what you want to do. But as an example, for like levels 1 through 12, I say, you know, adventure mode bounties is what you're going to be doing to progress. It's going to be on normal difficulty. The first thing you're going to do is hire a follower. Then as you see at level 1, you start off with poison darts. Level 2, you get poison grasp of the dead. Level 4, you get zombie dogs. Poison dart comes at level 6, the rune for that. Soul harvest level 9. That's the next skill you're going to get. Jungle Fortitude, and if it's passive, it'll be with the little italics or whatever there. It'll have passive and say level 10. That means at level 10 for the passive, you're going to take Jungle Fortitude. And at the end of each section, you're going to have levels 1 through 12 ending skill setup, which means at the end, once you hit level 12, this is how your skills should look. You should have Poison Darts and Splinter, Grasp of the Dead, Zombie Dog, Soul Harvest, and then one passive skill, Jungle Fortitude. And this does this from 12 to 21, 22 to 27, 28 to 36, and 37 to 48. Now, you might be wondering, well, why does it stop at those level intervals? Those are basically main things that are happening and progressing through the storyline, or things are changing, or not storyline, but different skills you're getting, new abilities. All that's broken down. So if you follow the itinerary list, it pretty much tells you what you need to do to keep progressing onward well and making a good leveling pace. And like I said, if you're inside of a group, or you're exploiting, or you're doing clever use of game mechanics, whatever you want to call it, the main thing, you could still use this as a reference guide of what skills you should be taking until you get to level 70. But for the most part, if you're solo or you're just grouping with friends or whatever, and you're just trying to get the most out of your first 24 hours playing a Witch Doctor, whether it be seasons, brand new, old one, whatever, you can use all these things to give you a help on what you should be taking, so you don't have to think, well, should I take this skill or this skill? If you just follow it very directly and follow the directions, it will guide you all the way to max level 70. And then once you get to a point, once you get to level 49, you're pretty much good till 49 to 70. And then it tells you, you know, what difficulty to take, what's going on, what skills to run. Just follow the system, you will have no problem. So now that we covered that, let's move into the main things in depth. Now you have a structured list on what you need to do, what skills you need to take, and you know at what levels you need to start using them and utilizing all that. So it says, well, Debo, if I got all that information and I know what levels to take certain skills at, I don't really need any more information. There's a couple more things I want to make sure we cover and we have understanding. And of course, if you like to read through the guide, you can read it there, but I just wanted to make this video to make it a lot easier. Maybe somebody's leveling or doing something at the same time. I just wanted to give you some basic things you need to look out for when you're leveling. Now, even in the phase 1 phase, you have bounty choices, you have itemization, and you have skill builds. Okay, the skill build is pretty much self-sufficient. It's pretty much what you're going to be using from level 1 to 70, so we kind of recovered that already. Itemization, there's really not too much itemization inside the leveling phase, but there's certain items that you need to look out for, and of course, the biggest one is the bounty choices. Now, some people like to run rips, some people like to run bounties. I prefer the bounty system. It seems to work pretty well. The reason I don't like the word rifts, because run rifts, in my opinion, it uses up the materials that I'm using for higher level. Like, I want to say those keystones so when I get to 70, so I can run rifts non-stop as soon as I get to level 70. But anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead and start with this and get into this right here. The first thing we got listed here is the bounty choices. Bounty choices are pretty much straightforward. While leveling through certain bounties that we while leveling in certain bounties or certain areas, there are certain bounties that we avoid, and specific acts we stay away from. We're not going to be doing Act 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, 3 can actually be fairly decent depending on which bounties you need to take, and you know exactly where you need to go. 4 is also another area where the bounties can go very quickly and you can get things done. The only thing I say against those acts is that the AI of the monsters is very strong. Act 1 monsters are pretty stupid. Their AI is not the greatest. Not that they have bad AI, it's just that zombies don't cast like the spells like a Morlu. A Morlu in Act 4 can do a lot of different abilities and spells that can have you have a bad day. Act 3, they have a lot of different of like, I forgot what they call them. I think I call them phase beasts when they teleport around and they go after you. That's one set of monsters, and a lot of different monsters that can cause you problem. Act 2 got a bunch of bees and a lot of monsters that can run around and use. Like I said, we focus on Act 1 because these monsters are just so easy, very straightforward, don't cause us any problems, okay? Also, a lot of the bounties are pretty repetitive in the sense of like, if you do like, let's say, Pacific, let me actually take a look here. We'll switch back over. Let's say we are going to do Southern Highlands. Now, this is to clear the Cave of the Moon Clan. The thing that I like about Act 1 so much is that when you do these bounties, like Cave of the Moon Clan, you automatically know it's either going to spawn towards the bottom right of the map or kind of towards the top, middle left of the map. There's only really 2 places where they can spawn at. And it's very easy where you can get inside there, go to the exact place where you need to do, and get those bounties done. So that's another reason why I like the Act 1. Let's go ahead and switch it back over to the screen that had all my written notes. Okay. Why do you choose Act 1 bounties only? Has the most easiest bounties to complete in game. Monster AI pales in comparison to other acts between 2 and 5, which I just said. Bounty max objectives leaves you spawn in the same areas. Very easy bounties, very straightforward. When a bounty says something, you know exactly where to go. What bounties, Debo, should I avoid? Which ones should I avoid sometimes or skip altogether? I actually have a bounty list, which I'll go ahead and bring up on the page for you. Now, I'm going to go away for a little bit, so do not panic. There we go. So if we're looking at what we have here, let me look at my second monitor here. What is going on basically is I have a image up on the screen. Red signifies don't bother, green signifies go right ahead, which means you got to go, green's for go, and blue is sometimes. Now, if you might have noticed, if you look at the top left area, I have Fields of Misery crossed out. The reason why we don't want to go to that area is because Fields of Misery has a lot of individual bounties in that area, which are fine. Some are easier to find than others, but for the most part, very big wide open area. The spawn places for certain events to happen are too and far and few between, and it takes too much of a long time to get where you need to go, find your destination, go inside the area, and finish the bounty after that. So I went ahead and crossed off one off the list. I don't want to go to Fields of Misery. Now, if you'd like to experiment, go there by all means, but I found through my playthroughs I was able to complete a lot more bounties as quickly as possible, and that's exactly what I want to do, is get these bounties done quickly as possible so I can leave the game reset or just get to other bounties that are basically pretty straightforward. So I stay away from Fields of Misery. Second place, Caverns of RNI. I don't know if I pronounced it right. I think it's RNA, or however you want to say it. Long story short, a lot of people don't like this area. I don't like it either. That's another area where things can go really out of hand, and you got a lot of big areas inside of that place where just you can get some problems. Things can have a bad situation, who knows? But the big thing is a lot of stuff can go down in the caverns. Finding the Spider Queen takes a long time. Finding the certain bounties, whether it be the kill 100 monsters from the chest or kill certain specific name mob, it takes a very long time, so we're just going to stay away from the area. Green areas I got circled around. Never have to worry about those. Do those bounties, not a problem. Very easy and straightforward. The only one I might suggest is Halls of Agony 2. If you ever get one where you have to kill the jailer, you might want to skip that one, but that's usually not too bad. I mean, it's kind of slow, but not as bad as the ones I marked out in red. Now, the blue ones are the areas where bosses also spawn. Now, Caverns of RNI has a Spider Queen. Since we're not doing that, we don't have to worry about that. But the reason why I have the blue circled on the sometimes is, in the Royal Crypt, sometimes you get a bounty that does not involve killing the Skeleton King. You have to kill a named monster and a couple minions. I think it's like 75. Very easy, very fast. So when you see that bounty pop up, then you do that one. If it's the one for the Skeleton, you don't do it. Same thing as with Halls of Agony 3. They got some other bounties down there in Halls of Agony 3. They're very easy, very straightforward, except for when you kill the Butcher. If it's kill the Butcher, skip that one. Debo, why aren't we fighting these ones that have the bosses? Well, one thing I discovered is that when you set the difficulty a lot higher, when you set it to Torment level 1, or like, Masters, it's really not that hard to deal with the monsters because, or at least the trash mobs, because they're pretty straightforward, very easy to deal with. However, when you put it to this difficulty and you fight these bosses HP scale up pretty tremendously, or they get pretty much scaled pretty proportionally well to whether you have it on Masters or Torment 1 or Torment 2 while leveling. All those settings make the bosses take a good amount of time to kill, and we don't want to waste time, so I just simply skip these areas. Well, Debo, we're not getting the the cash legendary reward at the end. And yeah, that is pretty nice, but the whole point is just to get these easy bounties done quickly, get in, get out, reset the game, and reload back up in Act 1 bounties, and just keep repeating that until you get to max level. We don't really even need to worry about the cash rewards until we get level 70, and that's where we can start worrying about the Ring of Royal Grandeur and other little items that we might be looking for. But this is what I did just to basically get started into the system. So like I said, red don't bother, green go right ahead, blue sometimes, as long as it's not the boss fights, you can do those bounties too, and that works out pretty well. So hopefully that was able to help shed some light on that. I'm going to take that back down. Let me see. There we go. Alright, so that's the bounty list, and inside the guide it has a link there too, so you guys can see what's going on. The next area, why I'm avoiding these bounties, it explains that I just talked about that. What about the maybe bounties? We just talked about that. And the last thing I wanted to talk about while leveling is the pools of reflection. They're little golden little pools. They look like the health pools they have are red, but they're yellow instead. Pools of reflection give 25 bonus experience. This is very important and will help you tremendously when you're leveling up, because the 25 experience is pretty big. The bonus persists until you reach a set amount of bonus experience equal to 10% of the current amount of Paragon experience needed to reach the next Paragon level, but that doesn't happen until you level 70 when Paragon levels come into the picture. The only time it dissipates is when you die, and gathering additional pools can stack up to 10 times. So, what you really want to do, like it says here, while doing bounties, you will come across the pools of the golden goodness. It is very easy to keep these stats going from level 1 to 61, which is very true, regardless of what difficulty you're on, for the most part, as long as you're sensible, you're careful, and you know how to make sure you're not just putting yourself in dangerous situations. Really hard to lose these from 1 to 61. 61 or higher, especially if you're on tournament level 1 difficulty, trying to maximize the experience, it gets pretty difficult. But if you die, it's not too bad, but you really don't want to die. If you want to make your 61 to 70, even if sometimes if you have to lower down the difficulty a little bit by one level, like Master Tournament level 2 to Tournament 1 or Tournament 1 to Masters, that's okay if it means you're keeping your pools of reflection stacks and you're not dying. If you utilize pools of reflections well, you will level extremely quickly and things will go really easy for you, so just keep that in mind. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about real quick is what gear should I be focusing on while leveling up. Two-handed weapons are the best due to our skill choices, their accessibility, and how well the damage scales up while we level. That's just true because we're going to be utilizing Locust, Swarm, and Haunt. Those are our major leveling tools, and with pets just to simply tank for us. When you're leveling up, you need to be equipping whatever gives you more damage. That is very important, at least until level 61. Once you get level 61 and you start getting some of those higher items, and you can get... It's not necessarily what's the highest item. You do want a little bit of survivability as well, because you don't want to lose this pool of reflection, so having a little bit of survivability might help you. You really don't have to worry about specific things to look for. Once you hit 61, you do want to look for a marquee gem. You want to look for a marquee ruby. You want to put that inside your helmet. It gives you, I think, 32 or 33% additional increased experience, which is like a permanent pool of reflection, but a little bit more experience. Make sure you have that at 61 and wear that always top level. Now, if you get lucky to get I do believe Leorg's crown, even at a low level one, you want to save that one. That makes tremendous amounts of time save while leveling, because even if it's a low level gem, what it does is it can roll up to 100% increase with the stats inside the gem of the helmet. So for instance, let's just say hypothetically I had a gem that gives me 10% increased experience, right? That means, let's say that the helmet was lucky enough to roll, I don't know, 90% increase the effect of the gem. So that means that 10% experience gem now is giving me 19% more experience. Well, so you can imagine it makes pretty much a big difference. You know, that can take a 30 up to a little bit under, like I think about 50-ish experience, and it makes a big deal. So if you happen to get that, or if you happen to get the ability to craft a Kane's 3-piece set, those kind of items are very good because they give you increased experience. That's what you want. I really wouldn't go for the Kane set, but if you find the Leorg's crown, you definitely want to consider using that and go into using that helmet while leveling, even if it's low level, and keep it on to your 70. Let me see here. What options it'll do if I can't find a decent weapon? As long as you can find a pretty good weapon, you can cruise on through everything. Most of the monsters are pretty good about dropping that. Sometimes I got bad luck when I was doing these test sessions, so what I did is I turned to an NPC, and the NPC always seems to have, every once in a while, when you're really hurting a weapon, NPCs sell nice two-headed weapons. You can check for the NPCs in Act 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Acts 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the same, 5 is different. And you want to check 3 NPCs One of them sells accessories, which will help you if you can't find good accessories, necklaces, and rings. The other ones can just sell two-handed weapons. You just want to stick to a two-handed weapon, find whatever gives you the most damage, and just keep it moving. So if you get hurt on a weapon, like let's say you have a weapon from level 45 and you're level 51, you still haven't found nothing, go check an NPC. Odds are you probably will find a better weapon. Okay? Now here's another major point. We're getting close to the end of this. I'm trying to keep it within 30 minutes. Things you don't need to worry about from levels 1 to 60. Breaking down items at the blacksmith, that's pointless. Picking up or using gems, other than if you get like a Leoric kind of low level and you just want to throw any kind of ruby in there. Other than that, useless. Learning pre-61 crafting plan, useless. Keeping or saving any pre-level 60 legendaries, useless. Upgrading any artisans prior to level 61. If you want to upgrade them, you can. I wouldn't advise this. Upgrade them when you get to higher level. When you get till 61 at least. So that stuff doesn't matter. Pick up all the items, sell them for gold. That's fine. Till you get to 61, don't waste your time. And I'm telling you this is okay. Alright, so what do we do when we hit level 61? Pick up everything you can pre-61 and sell it for gold. We already said that. Once you reach level 61, start picking up everything. Because these items are in-game crafting items. Pick up everything once you start killing stuff at level 61. Once you're level 61, pick up everything, kill everything. Make sure you get your helmet in your gym. That's really important. Get a Markized Ruby inside in the helmet slot. Pick up everything. And then, of course, if you get any items at level 60 to 70, okay? If you're on Torment level 1, you can get some of the nice old school, like, legendary sets, Legendary Monster. But here's the main thing you gotta remember. If you're at level 60 to 70 and you get a legendary Voodoo Helm, Carnival, Quetzalcoatl, Jerome, Grim Reaper, even an Andariel's helmet, but not really. But I don't even think a Andariel's helmet I can drop it. I could be wrong. But I know Carnival, Quetzalcoatl, Jerome, Grim Reaper, I do believe they still drop 60. I'm 90% sure. I'm pretty sure they do. Save those because they still have the same effect at level 70. Outside of that, you're good to go from 61 to 70, just picking up everything and breaking everything down. And then, you know, of course, when you hit level 70, then you can go ahead and, upgrade all your artisans and do all that kind of stuff. What's the most optimal build to level with? And we're getting to a closing in here. I got pretty much a couple things pulled up here. Hopefully it'll link up okay. This is pre-level, let me see here, 61, I think, or I forgot how I had it set up. I'll click back in a second. Haunt, Locust Swarm, Spirit Walk, Soul Harvest, Zombie Dogs, Gargantuan. This is pretty much what your skill build's going to be. Pierce of Veil, Rush of Essence, Fed of Sycophants. Pretty straightforward. Like I said in the itinerary section, it tells you at what specific levels you're taking all these skills and what extra runes. Now, let me see here, 61 to 70. The only big difference is the same exact setup as so that you switch out the Soul Harvest and you switch it out for Piranhas. That's the only thing that really happens there. And then at level 70, to start off with the basic build, it's Haunt, Locust Swarm. Of course, you got Haunt with Resentful Spirits. Now, actually, when this actually comes out live, by the time you get this, guys, or like next week, see, the next patch is coming out. So actually, you're going to actually, instead of taking Resentful Spirits, unless you really like it, you're going to be taking the level 48 one, which is not Grassy Spirit. This one's going to be changed into Poison Spirit. And what it actually does is it makes the target take 20% more damage and it's a poison property. Haunt. That one you would use instead. Other than that, Locust Swarm Pestilence, John Spirit Walk, Zombie Piranhas is pretty good. Summon Zombie Dogs, Lifelink, Gargantuan versus Giant, Pierce of Veil, Rush to Effort, Gruesome Feast, Creeping Death. Debo, how do I play this build? Spam click out of Haunt, because every time you click Haunt, you're going to get back some of that Rush of Essence. Occasionally cast Locust Swarm, Pets tank for you, and drop Piranhas whenever you can. Everything's going to take a bunch of damage. Creeping Death makes the damage extend for a longer amount of time, up to 5 minutes. Gruesome Feast gives you a little damage buff. Rush of Essence allows you to spam Haunt as much as you want, and Pierce of Veil gives you increased damage. And like I said, Rush of Essence also helps with the Pierce of Veil effect that makes it so your spells cost more mana. So that's pretty much about it. Very straightforward, very easy entry-level build you can do. Very easy to get a nice two-handed weapon and get some solid gear just to make that thing work pretty well. And outside of that, we're just going to talk about my test session Witch Doctors. So I'm just going to bring them up real quick because I did do about 4 different test sessions, and I just timed them, and I basically was just, you know, formulating this whole different thing. So for the first test, as you see, I got Coco. She's test 1. I was able to get her to level 70 solo just by doing the bounty system. This is back when I actually was doing the red areas I told you not to do. It took me 8 hours and 2 minutes to get her to level 70, so that was not really great. But, you know, I realized what I did wrong. I improved what I did wrong, and then I just went for the next target, or I was trying to go for the next thing. Now let me see here. Oh, it's my. Oh, let me check. Let me make sure that everything's well on my camera. Yeah, it is. Sorry, I was freaking out for no reason. Okay, this is test phase 2. This is when I started only targeting certain specific areas, and I started getting like the understanding of stacking my pools of reflection and actually start using a gem when I go from 61 to 70. As you can see, I got it within 7 hours and 36 minutes. So I was pretty happy about that. And then, like I said, I went back to the laboratory. Then I started making sure I was picking the right skills at the right level and maximizing every single time that I get. And then it actually resulted in getting a better time. This is on the test session 3. I was able to get my Witch Doctor within 7 hours and 10 minutes, so I was quite happy about this, and things were improving. And then for the last one, unfortunately, it kind of bugged out. I forgot to take a screenshot, but right here I got test session number 4. Hopefully I can show you guys what's going on, and I got this in the link. And level 60. And I'll go ahead and I'll bring it up on the screen so you guys can see. It's kind of weird because I got my past self below me, but this will just showcase what I was talking about. I'm about to hit the last level. I think this bounty is about to be over. I want to fast forward just a smidge. Cool. Now we're going to pause it right here. 6 hours and 28 minutes. And I think a big in part with this because I got the Leoric's crown, and that made a tremendous big difference in these test sessions because I was able to get so much experience. But just basically focusing on what I needed to do, knowing what skills I needed to take at every level, and just basically practicing this out, I actually was able to get this down to 6 hours and 28 minutes. Now, I even think I can get it sub 6, probably even to 5:30, and at some point maybe 5 hours, depending on if I can fine tune everything. So at least the worst case scenario, if you follow this bit by bit, even if you're a new player, you should be able to clock in at level 70 within 7 hours of game time. If you do things really well and you focus, 6 hours if you don't idle a lot. So I was able to do that within by the time I did the 4th test session, I was very happy that it ended off like that, and it actually went very well. So I'm looking forward to maybe even doing in future runs to see how low I can actually get it, and I'm glad I was able to find that bad link, and I can get right back in here and alter this guide. But anyways, that's pretty much about it. Hopefully you guys see how everything went. And like I said, I got all the information. As long as you follow the itinerary, you watch this video, maybe listen to this video when you're leveling, doing your own thing. You should be able to get to level 1 to 70. Now you know what skills you need to take. You know how you need to build your Witch Doctor, at what levels you need to take it. This should be very easy for you to do to get your Witch Doctor started on the right way, so we can get you to level 70 within the first, 6-7 hours if you're playing solo. And like I said, if you're in a group, you'd probably get it done in 4 or 5, maybe even 3. And if you're using some special techniques, hey, at least you know a good level 70 build to start off with your Witch Doctor. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. This is phase 1. This is the leveling process of the first set of 3 videos for the 24-hour Witch Doctor. The next set is, or the next video, which I'll link inside the description, is going to go directly into the the gearing and progression phase, and how to identify good legendaries and what certain legendaries can lead you to certain builds. And I'll break everything down there so you guys to Torment level 1 and 3 and getting situated in the game right away. And then the last video is just going to focus on rounding off everything and making sure that these end-level characters actually end up with some good stats or good items, or just to make them as functional as possible. So when you get to the 3rd phase, you'll be able to hopefully be doing T5 and T6. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. We kept it down to about 35 minutes. I think it's going to be a little bit less because I got to edit out the time or the point in which I was trying to find the correct video for the 4th phase. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos, and thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed them. I'm Debo, and I'm out. Hey guys, if you appreciate the video you just watched, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make sure you check me out at twitch.tv/SPSDebo. And then if you'd like to support my future endeavors, just check me down at patreon.com/Debo. Thank you for your time, and check you guys later.